I do want to touch on those issues in a moment, but first I want to get back to the mental acuity portion. According to a Harris X Forbes poll, 67% of voters expressed doubts in President Biden's mental fitness. Voters are concerned about his mental acuity. So, what specifically does he need to do to get out there on Thursday night to convince the American people that he's fit for 4 more years?
Honestly, the expectations are so low. He's got to beat expectations. So being able to look presidential, sound presidential, look like the fighter that defeated Donald Trump in the first place, that has been the only person to be able to defeat Donald Trump, and say that he's going to do it again. That's what he has to do. But that bar is very low. I mean, for 80% of your own party to be unenthusiastic about Joe Biden being their standard bearer, that's a big challenge, and that's a big problem for him to have to overcome. But he has the opportunity on Thursday night to, I guess, make some headway. But he did have that chance during the Super Bowl, during that Super Bowl interview. It would have been a great chance for him to show everybody that no, he can do it. He can answer questions. He can fight back. He can be presidential, but he didn't do it. So Thursday night, all he has to do is get up and read a speech that somebody else wrote. And there are no questions. There's going to be no curveballs. So that's really the expectation that I think his own party has to accept.
You've talked before about being a successful candidate, and being a successful candidate means being on the offensive on certain issues. And right now it seems like Republicans are winning when it comes to messaging in key areas. As we know, immigration and the economy are top issues facing voters. And according to a recent Harris X Forbes poll, more voters think Trump would handle both better than Biden. So what does President Biden need to do to effectively message that he's equipped for the job and would be better at handling those situations than former President Trump?
That's also a really tall order, because when voters think about their lives when President Trump was president, they don't think that they're better off now. And that's a real big hurdle to overcome for Joe Biden. So really the ultimate test and the biggest problem that we've seen in these recent polls, including the New York Times Siena poll that came out the other day, is that a vast majority of voters, Republicans, Democrats, and independents, believe that this country is on the wrong track and do not believe that they're better off now than they were 4 years ago. So for President Biden to try to convince voters that he's more equipped to handle the issues of the day, I just think that the policies aren't there. Their record's not there. When you don't have a record to run on, that's when you run on things like democracy, because that's the only thing that he can run on. He can't run on the border. He can't run on public safety. He can't run on the economy. So what's left? January 6th. That's what they think is going to win this election. But I'll tell you, it is very difficult for voters to believe that democracy and President Trump's role in democracy affects them. So let's just say in a few months after we get through the primary and the convention, and you see all of these ads from the Biden campaign about January 6th and President Trump's role in it, okay? What they have to do is convince voters that they were harmed by that event, that because President Trump offended democracy and that they have to save democracy from President Trump, that impacts them. Voters are saying, well, 3 years ago, I was refinancing my mortgage at 3%, but now I'm going to the grocery store and I'm paying $8 for milk. That's what affects me. It's not the democracy that you're saying is in jeopardy because of President Trump, when I remember that my life was better off under President Trump. I mean, voters are selfish, and that's just the way that the system is. Voters want what they're interested in, their self-interest, and that trumps anything outside of those interests. And what they're interested in is keeping their kids safe. They are interested in making sure that they can save for college, that the economy is good, that they can afford groceries, that the border is secure, that their daughter can go out and run on a college campus and not be murdered by somebody who shouldn't be here. That is what voters are concerned about. So if the Democrats want to try to make that leap that they were harmed somehow by January 6th, it's going to go over like a lead balloon.